皆さん、また来てくださってありがとうございます。こちらはマンハッタンニューヨーク金曜日の午後です。ということで今日の動画はね、2つ短いやつを上げたいと思うんですけど、今日のね、動画もうね、トランプさんじゃないんですよ。ごめんなさい。トランプさんの演説、水曜日の演説あげようと思ったんですけど、明日またね、トランプさん演説があるんですよ。ということで、明日の演説と水曜の演説のちょっといいところをこう抜粋して、また上げてみようかと思っています。ということで今日の動画は短いのを2本、フォックスと、オーストラリアの議員さんの、納得だっていう短い動画を上げてみます。どうぞ。
Trouble brewing in Biden's EV la-la land, and let's start with the simple fact that nobody wants them.
No matter how cheap or how many government incentives and subsidies, Americans are letting Biden ride solo on this one, but he's bringing the auto industry down with him.
Ford, in the most recent quarter, lost more than $36,000 per electric vehicle sold in that quarter. And just to get to the damn things off the lots, automakers are offering now rebates of nearly $8,000 to anyone will take one. And that's on top of the money that you get from the government.
So despite all the red flags, Biden persists. He doesn't stop. Joining us now, auto expert Mike Caudell. Mike, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. So as Dagan just mentioned, Ford is losing $36,000 a car. Incentives are being thrown out on lots for cars that nobody wants. Does this insanity ever end, or are we going to push the auto industry right off the cliff? Now, we Biden push the auto industry.
Thanks for having me on, you guys. And you know what? There's two sides to this equation. And the first is early adopters, right? So early adopters came into the market and they were gung-ho. They didn't care about what the prices were of electric vehicles. They just wanted their Tesla and they went out and bought it. The problem is those early adopters, they already have their electric vehicles. And now you are moving into mainstream America. They don't understand range. They don't want to understand range. They just like a good deal on a vehicle. So with the average price of an electric vehicle hovering in that $60,000 range, the cheapest one on the market is a Nissan Leaf, right around $26,000. But I say hogwash to all of it, guys. I'm just going to be honest with you. You can throw the tax credits out the door. It's all about, do Americans want them? And the way you get Americans to want electric vehicles is through marketing. I know that sounds crazy, but if you talk about the environment, we're all learning now that making these vehicles is not as easy as just flipping a switch. You are mining for this stuff. So it's all about making them fast, fun, and cool. And if they go that route, they might be able to pick up sales.
They should have focused on hybrid vehicles, just like Toyota said, because you get this greater emissions reduction from 90 hybrids than you do one plug-in electric vehicle. And a hybrid is badass because you still run on gasoline or you can use the electric motor.
I actually like electric vehicles. They are fast and they are fun to drive, but you are marketing them wrong to the American consumer. And when you look at what President Biden's doing, you can throw the tax credits out the door. You can throw the pricing out the door. You have to create an environment where consumers want to buy these cars. And right now, they don't want to buy them because they don't understand them. And they're getting all of this EV stuff shoved down their throat.
You want market demand, market-based economy. You don't want government pushing them down our throat. You're right. Mike Caudell, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us, our car guy. Great.
Can I say one real quick thing to you? This deal that the UAW has inked with these three U.S. automakers, and because of the expense of making these stupid cars that they're going to be forced to make, the U.S. taxpayer is going to have to bail out these three automakers because of EVs and because they're being forced to be made here in the United States. If you cared about the environment, let China make cheap crap and just stick to what sells.
There's an Australian senator who made a great little speech about this ridiculous nonsense about climate change on his Senate floor. And I thought, well, this is related. And I love him and I love the way he talks because he's Australian. So here he is.
In 1970, the Sydney Morning Herald reported that weather experts fear air pollution, if unchecked, will bring on a new ice age. In 1978, a documentary was made featuring Leonard Nimoy of Star Trek fame, who told viewers during the lifetime of our grandchildren, Arctic cold and perpetual snow could turn most of the inhabitable portions of the planet into a polar desert. In the late 90s and early 2000s, we were being told that humans had punched a hole in the ozone layer and the sun's ultraviolet rays were going to kill us all. Alarmist rhetoric about man-made climate change is nothing new. The United Nations and the media have been pushing it for decades, but over time, the narrative has shifted from global cooling to global warming. And in fact, several months ago, Greta Thunberg deleted a tweet from 2018 which read, "A top climate scientist is warning that climate change will wipe out all of humanity unless we stop using fossil fuels over the next 5 years." These prophecies of doom simply never come true. The polar bears are still here, the sea hasn't risen, the ozone layer is fine, but the point of this messaging is to make you afraid. And why? Because if a climate apocalypse is imminent, then governments of the world can centralise their power and control your actions with the so-called emergency. It's a Trojan horse for globalism led by the United Nations and their puppet masters and the Chinese Communist Party. This is not serving Australian interests. These entities are not serving Australian interests. They're trying to control us and they're trying to make us weak, but that is the real emergency.
Quite right. Quite right. God, I love him. I do too. All of it, 100% correct.